Spider-Man joke. Spider-Man joke. I got it!
Spider Pig, does whatever a Spider Pig does. Can he swing from a web? No, he can't. He's a pig. Look out, he is a Spider Pig.
One more.
Is that a cartoon pig?
Hey everybody, it's Andrew from Media Award. So I went to go and watch The Amazing Spider-Man IMAX 3D, and I gotta say I am deeply impressed, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. You could say The Amazing Spider-Man is amazing. As always, I'm going to share my thoughts and opinions about the movie, including the characters, the storyline, the genre, and anything else I think is important to mention talking about this film. Okay, so the storyline of The Amazing Spider-Man is generally basic and very simple. Peter Parker, nerdy type of loner outcast at high school, gets bitten by a spider, and he has powers he has to deal with. Tragedy strikes in his life, and it's a general story of like how he becomes, a Spider-Man, and we get to see different aspects of his character throughout the entire movie, and it's generally the same as it would be within the comic and within the 2002 version. The fundamental story still remains there, but just told in a slightly different way. What this movie does, I think, was really impressive, and I really appreciated it, was it more modernized it a bit more into 21st century 2012 type stuff. Certain things in the comics were changed a little bit, bit more updated, and but they stayed true to the comics more, I felt, and did something, little tweaks and now and again, but it generally does work really, really well. And I really like this storyline this time around. Peter Parker's father and mother, and we can see them at the start of the movie, with flashbacks throughout different parts of the movie, is like the research they were doing and groundbreaking type of stuff, cross genetics and quite interesting stuff. And I like the fact that they actually did show their parents in this one, and they actually weren't just people that passed away in his life within the 2002 version. They actually showed them his parents and actually showed him with him, and how it affects him as a person. And later as a teen, he's kind of sees his father as a bit of a person that he didn't fully understand, and he kind of wants to be like him in a sense. There's a really great scene in the movie, which I'm not going to give any of my spoilers, just to say that right now. There's a couple of scenes I want to talk about. He's wearing contact lenses for the start of the movie, and he kind of finds his briefcase, and he sees his father's picture, and he's wearing glasses, and he decides to take the contact lenses and starts to wear glasses. That stays more true to the comics, and it's a bit more modernized, because you wouldn't, in this day and age, you would wear contact lenses, wouldn't you, if you had glasses? So it makes a bit more sense. He needed it to stay a bit more true to his father, and to try and get that little aspect of him, and I really appreciate that. I really like that. And of course, he gets raised by his Uncle Ben and Aunt May, and they kind of bring him up as their own kind of son, and I really like that. I thought Martin Sheen's performance was actually fantastic in this one as Uncle Ben, and his side of how he sees things was interesting. And Aunt May, she was a really nice person, and she's kind of lonely in a sense with, of course, what happens. If you're familiar with the typical Spider-Man story, you know what happens in the movie. And it's generally quite good. I mean, one thing I do want to talk about is Andrew Garfield's performance as Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Fantastic. He completely brings so much depth and deepness into his character. It's unbelievable. He's just a bit more. He's a bit more cocky. He's a bit more. There's a bit more of an ego. Well, I wouldn't say an ego, but a bit more of an attitude. He doesn't take it 100% seriously. He has a bit of fun with it. Once he gets into the Spider-Man suit, he doesn't fully embrace the actual. Great power comes great responsibility. It takes him a little while to get that kind of full aspect, the full scope of what he's doing. And when first time we see him in the actual Spider-Man suit, and he's going after one of the robbers and stuff, he kind of just takes the piss out of him. It basically it's the scene in the trailer that we see, like when he's holding a knife and he's it's my weakness kind of thing, and he's taking the piss out of him. He's cocky, he's uses web spring and stuff, and it's generally it's a little funny, but it's like, okay, this is a Spider-Man we don't say usually within the movies anyway. And we like that because he does have a bit of one-liners and stuff within the movies, and it's not cheesy. That's what I liked about it. This movie is 100% cheese non-fest kind of thing. It was just done really well. The dialogue I thought was absolutely fantastic, especially for Spider-Man and Peter Parker. One thing I love about this movie so much is how realistic this is. If you've read the comics, you would know that he used Carnage's, this kind of like Carnage device type stuff he holds, that there's like super strong web. Now in the movie, Oscorp Industries are kind of like using these spiders, the same spider that bit him, and using their webs. And their web is like super strong, it's really tough, really hard to break. And he kind of uses it and takes that kind of little Carnage's type stuff and uses it as a device to kind of swing around the cities and stuff. I really like that. That was realistic. That made sense. The way he got his costume, he looked online, spandex, he mixed the colours together, and it generally does make sense. It works really, really well, and it shows that that believable. And what I like about his character also, he is smart. He's not, thick. He likes his quantum science. He's a smart person. I like that. He knows the quantum physics and stuff. He gives him like Dr. Connors the slicing gene to kind of complete the formula so he can kind of really grow his limb kind of thing. And I really like that. It works really, really well. I thought his performance in the entire movie is fantastic, and it puts Tobey Maguire's character to shame, unfortunately. Andrew Garfield did a much better job, and just it brought so much life into his character. Fantastic, really fantastic stuff. Gwen Stacy is kind of a love interest in this movie. We all know that. I thought her character was actually fantastic, and Emma Stone basically knocked it out of the park for sure. A fantastic character. She wasn't the dancer in distress. She didn't get saved at all in the entire movie. She was a smart character. She wasn't stupid, and it was generally quite open, and I liked her character a lot. And of course, they were kind of in love in a sense, but the love scenes, well, the kind of like romantic like love scenes were done very naturally and very right. It was just done beautifully well. It wasn't forced. It wasn't thrown in or that kind of thing like that, and it was just done in a nice time where he smoothed it out. I think it worked more as the MJ in the 2002 Spider-Man. In the 2002 Spider-Man, Peter Parker, he's kind of going out there. He's going to cage matches. He's kind of trying to impress her, and he's trying to bust a car for her and all that. It's like very stupid, and that love interest is just, it takes an entire fucking movie just them to actually do something, and then he just kind of like, no, I want a great power goes with responsibility. This movie, it's very snappy, very fast, and just something a little more different. And I liked her performance. She was really fantastic in this movie. I think she was really well received, and I think people should acknowledge the fact that she is a fantastic actress. Really fantastic. She was in Zombieland also. Really great movie. Now, a lot of people have been comparing this kind of love interest to Twilight.
Understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Whoever's comparing it to Twilight needs to die. This movie is not Twilight, I guarantee that. You can have love scenes, you can have romantic issues within super movies, horror movies, whatever, as long as it's done right. The director who did this was, I think, Marc Webb, who did 500 Days of Summer, a really fantastic independent film. I haven't actually seen it. I know enough about it. It is one of my films on my checklist to watch, but I know enough about it that it is a really fantastic movie and people love it. And that was a romantic type comedy as well, so I know he can do that as well. And he can do action as well. He can do drama, he can do action, he can do romantic side, and it works really, really well. Absolutely fantastic. I thought all the characters in the entire movie did a fantastic job. Person plays Dr. Connors, Lizard. I thought his character was fantastic. He wasn't a typical, I'm a bad guy, black and white kind of thing. He was a flesh and blood character, like Dr. Octopus kind of thing, and he wanted to do something good. He wanted to rechange the world. He wanted to grow Livingston back, change the entire world. But as the formula happens and all that stuff, he loses his mind a little bit, and he sees things a little differently, and it takes him a while to kind of scope for what's happening in this movie, and it's really fantastic. His character is really good, and I thought the fight scenes for the entire movie were fantastic also. I was a little disappointed by some. The first fight scene with Lizard and Spider-Man was over within like 3 minutes, and I was like, really, they could have done a bit more. They do make it up for later on in the movie, but the fight scenes were good, but I thought they could have been a little bit more better, but nonetheless, still pretty good all around. Very entertaining and very enjoyable, definitely. Special effects wise, fantastic, amazing kind of stuff. Also, I also want to mention Dennis Leary. He plays Captain Stacy in this movie also. He's really fantastic. I'm a big fan of Dennis Leary's movie, The Ref, and I love his comedy work. And it's great to see him in this movie. I think he was a great character. He was actually pretty funny. Actually had some pretty decent lines in this movie also. So fantastic of him to be in this movie for sure. What was also good about this movie is how Andrew Garfield's character, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, was still in high school for the entire duration of the movie. You know, within the 2002 Spider-Man, he's only in it for like half an hour in high school, then he graduates, and then he goes to the office job, becomes a photographer and all that stuff, takes pictures of himself. And within this movie, he kind of starts taking pictures of himself, trying to catch him in the act, kind of thing. But he's not a full photographer. He's still in high school. He's still learning his stuff, and that's something they can develop in the next movie if they wanted to. And I love the fact that they don't like full force everything into this one movie. They take its time. You know, they establish who this character is, what his version of Spider-Man, and I really like that. And it didn't go full overboard. You know, it took aspects which it needed and what he wanted to do. I thought that was really fantastic also. What I liked about how also was how Spider-Man moved during this entire movie. I thought his web slinging and choreography moves are fantastic. You know, when he's swinging on these walls and stuff, it's a different move every time. You know, really fantastic. It looks amazing, really fantastic. Now, one of the things I want to talk about also is that I watched this in IMAX 3D. Now, IMAX 3D is absolutely fantastic. I went to see Harry Potter Part 2 in IMAX 3D, and I was blown away. And I was blown away by this, how good it looks as well. IMAX is a massive, huge screen, looks amazing, fantastic, and the 3D actually works with that giant screen. I thought the colours were really fantastic, the blues and white, and the night screen. The last half an hour, it looked the best, I think, for the entire movie. It showed really well. The special effects, amazing, really fantastic. IMAX 3D, I think, is definitely worth checking out. It's definitely one of the better versions I've seen in 3D. I'm not a huge fan of 3D kind of technology in movies, but this one worked really well, and I was really impressed and really blown away by how good this movie was and good looking it was. So yeah. What also in this movie is there's a cameo appearance by Stan Lee. There's always is in the Marvel movies. That was really funny. His cameo appearance is good. Sometimes they can be a bit hit and miss. You know, sometimes they're not really there. They're just random kind of things. But he did actually get a pretty funny one, and you know, it's nice to see him in a Marvel movie as always. You know, Stan Lee, fantastic. Acting work, I thought, was fantastic. For him to go from an indie movie to a blockbuster movie like Spider-Man, amazing. I think he should do the second Spider-Man also. I think it'd be fantastic. The writing, I thought, was amazing. The dialogue was good. They stayed true to Spider-Man. They told a completely different story this time around, and I think it was just miles better than 2002's version of Spider-Man. I thought the action scenes could have been a little bit better, but there is some pretty impressive ones later on, so don't worry about that too much. I thought the visual effects and the stunts and the kind of developments, I thought was fantastic also. The way he kind of finds how he uses powers, and he's growing in strength, he's sticking to stuff and all that, I thought was really funny, and you know, it was slightly different than it was in the other version. So overall, I think this movie is just top. It's just really fantastic. One thing I'm going to mention also is, I think everyone has mentioned in their reviews, is there is an end credit scene, mid credit, not like very end, mid credit scene, that kind of opens up a couple of ideas. I've got my ideas. It's over two characters that I'm thinking of, but that's a nice little teaser into the actual second one kind of thing, and it's generally quite interesting, and they are going to make a second one, you can tell. So overall, I thought this movie was fantastic. It did a really great storyline. I thought the characters are fantastic. Just everything about this movie was brilliant. So yeah, that is my take upon the Amazing Spider-Man. I do have, of course, Spider-Man 2002. I think once I be getting the Blu-ray, I will not be holding that movie anymore. I think for me it will be the Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2.1, and you know, Spider-Man 3 I might put up with now and again kind of thing. That's going to be my thing. Now I would definitely recommend it on a Blu-ray purchase. If you're thinking about not watching cinemas, I think it's going to be fantastic on Blu-ray. I definitely recommend an actual solid purchase on the day. I think it's going to be worth your money for 100%. But at the moment, it is still out in cinemas. It's only been a week out in cinemas. Go and check it out. You're going to enjoy it. It's going to love it. It's miles better than 2002 version. It reminds me a lot of the Spider-Man 2. It's more similar in that kind of lines. It's more true to the characters and the villains and stuff. just does really well. Does really well. So yeah, that's my take upon the Amazing Spider-Man. I hope you enjoyed this review, and yeah, go and check it out. I think you will be impressed, definitely. So yeah, this has been Andrew from Media Fun Game TV. Signing out.
I am issuing an arrest warrant for the masked vigilante known as Spider-Man.
I'm in trouble.